Hello, we are here today to learn how to do a peer review of a classmate's lab report. First of all, two students will sit side by side, the owner of the lab report and the student during the peer review. They would have the lab report on the computer, the yellow lab card that outlined how to do the lab, as well as the rubric. To begin, make sure the student has the title of the lab. And in the first section, purpose, the student needs to write in completely grammatically correct sentences. The purpose needs to be correct, and the method used needs to be briefly mentioned. In the first sentence, which I will read, the student does not use a complete and grammatically correct sentence. It begins, to experiment what happens when 5 different metals are heated to the same temperature of 100 degrees Celsius and determine the change in temperature of each metal to find the specific heat of the metal. So also the student indicates that all the specific heats of all the metals are to be determined, when in fact the student is only supposed to find one of the specific heats of their assigned metal. In addition, the method used is called calorimetry, and a student should specify the specific heat of the metal will be determined using calorimetry. So therefore, according to the rubric, I would rate the student a 1 because to receive a 2, you'd have to have all those elements listed present. Roman numeral 2, the procedure should be a summary. It should not be a retelling or rewriting of the procedure. I'm going to read a couple lines to show you how it's rewritten. For example, the student writes, obtain sample of assigned metal and record the identity and mass of the metal in the data table, and place the sample of metal in boiling water and leave to rest for a few minutes. Record the temperature of the boiling water bath, and so forth. So the student is rewriting the procedure, when in fact it should be a summary. So to give an example of how it should be summarized, the student begins by saying, a metal is obtained and massed, and then placed into boiling water. The metal is then removed and placed into a calorimeter containing room temperature water. And they continue from there. So the procedure would also earn a 1 because it was not summarized. It was just rewritten. Roman numeral 3, the data table, the student has a title, and even though it includes all the data for all the metals, and it really should only include one metal, I still gave them a 2 since they have their title, they have their column headings, their units, and the correct number of significant figures. The next section, data analysis. A reminder, all calculations need to be numbered and the work spread out. I actually edited this a little bit. The student had it in paragraph format, and it was really, really hard to read. So if I show you, matter of fact, I could probably go to revision history. I'm going to show you. Here we go. Before I actually made the corrections, I can see what the student did. There we go. Here are the data analysis in paragraph format. No calculations are numbered. So to introduce the calculation, the student needs to get rid of that and just say the change in temperature for the metal. And then this is the equation they wrote. They don't need to write change in temperature again. Although the first calculation should have also included the change in temperature of the water, which is missing here, I gave student the points for writing the word equation for change in temperature of the metal, as well as its introduction. The student, however, fails to show work for their calculation, so they wouldn't earn points for that. In addition, they down here, they say the equation used to find the specific heat of the metals is this, and then this is not the equation since C is the what you need to solve for, so you need to show that algebra. If you look further down, the student solves or has a value for joules, which is just heat and not specific heat. And also, we don't know how the student calculated this value. so I can't give any points for showing any work. In addition, nothing was mentioned about the water, which is key here since the water is going to be gaining heat and the metal loses heat. The student down below shows the equation for the percent error, but they have no work for that. So they get a point for showing the percent error, but they don't have any work. And then I'm not going to go any further since the student is missing the results and discussion section. They would get 0 points for each of those sections. So I hope this helps. After one person peer reviews one person's lab, then they peer review at least another person's lab. Thank you for listening.